I did 2 full tours on active duty, and that was full time. And I was a very junior Marine. I was a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and a captain. When you're early in your career, you're simply trying to learn how to be a Marine and be proficient. You're very wrapped up in the first-person view. By the time I became a reservist, I had a lot more experience. I lived a lot more life. My life was much broader, and I think I was able to give a lot more of myself, not so worried about my personal performance. I had a lot more confidence because I had more competence. Yeah, I think leadership lessons from a hindsight of 30 plus years looking at it. You know, all leaders, the first rule of leadership in the Marine Corps is that you have to know your craft. The Marines demand that you know what you're doing, that you have the skills to lead them. And then over time, you have to be willing to fail in public. And you got to be comfortable with that. And that's how you learn. And then when you do that enough, you get competent. And when you get competent, then you gain confidence, and that allows you to think of other people in front of yourself. You can truly think about the welfare of your Marines, but you can't get a shortcut to get there. You got to know your job. What event or who has had the most positive impact? That's an impossible question to ask because I think of my service in chunks of time and tours. Each tour, there were unique Marines in that group that I was with. Each tour created hardships. Certainly at post 9/11, there was a lot of events that challenged me to develop quickly in environments that I couldn't have foreseen, so it's almost impossible. So I really think about the people more than I think about who and what specifically happened. The greatest lesson, I would say, it is that opportunity comes and advantage is gained, and it comes from people that doesn't matter what rank they are, doesn't matter what billet they are, what MOS they are. If you've got good, competent Marines around you and things are going sideways and they trust you, then the answer will come. And it's up to the leader to take advantage of that. But you have to create a culture where the answers come to you, and then you've got to be bold and act on them. Well, for us in this command, we have 2 commands here. You know, one of them spans the entire United States with 158 different sites, and the other one is all activities in 32 different countries. So it was simply impossible to stay in touch with all of our stakeholders, all the Marines and sailors, and all of our friends and partners by using conventional methods. And of course, from Gen X, I'm not comfortable on social media, but it was very clear to me that that's where the Marines were. And so you have to go to the decisive terrain. And I watched best practices, and I became inspired by the people that were out there. It was very similar to what I said before. You know, their rank and their billet and their MOSs didn't matter. It was, were they competent and were they trying to be constructive? And there was a lot of different ways to do it, so it really interested me. What I look forward to the most, what I enjoy the most, is seeing young talent rise. You know, the job of the leader is to set the conditions for talent to thrive. And so what I'm trying to find is the next chapter in my life where I can continue to help people reach their potential and probably reach beyond what they believe is their potential. What's kept me motivated? It's always the Marines, and that's not. I'm not just saying that because I'm not going to get promoted. So there's no reason for me to say this other than, I remember specific nights like being with your Marines deployed someplace and it's raining and it's awful conditions, and you can tell who they are by the silhouette of the way they wear their gear at night and the fact that they just keep doing their jobs. And over time, watching young Marines ascend and to reach a level of competence and leadership that they didn't know that they had in them. And you get to watch that over and over, and that's been the best part of my career. Well, that's a tough one. I've enjoyed them all, but I think first lieutenant and captain are pretty good because you're finally figuring out who you are. And you're gaining confidence because you're getting better and better, and you know all your Marines. You have a very close relationship because the scale is small. But being a battalion commander in Iraq was great because I had a great battalion. Every rank has been good, but if I really think back on it, I'd say first lieutenant, captain. I think that the reserve component is going to be more and more vital in the years to come. When the blended retirement system fully hits, I think that Marines are going to be just as likely to get out at year 14 as they are at year 4. That's a big change. And I also think that young people will demand multiple opportunities and paths to answer their call to service. They want to be Marines, but they want to have options. And all we want is the very best. We want the very best of you and from you, so that when the nation calls, you're ready to answer that call. And so Mar4 Res is going to have to be deeply involved in providing those paths to service for our best and brightest and hardest Marines. I would say not just Reserve Marines, because Mar4 Res is made up of every type of Marine. Active duty Marines, AR Marines, Active Reserve, and then Select Marine Corps Reserve and individual augments. So my advice is, if you still have the call to service in you, as you go through the hard parts of your life where life starts getting complicated into your senior 20s and your 30s, and you begin to think that you can't do both. You can't both be a Marine and meet all of life's challenges. They get more and more complicated as you get older. I would say you're looking at somebody who's telling you that yes, you can. Answer your call to service and struggle to remain a Marine. And what that'll do is it'll compel you to be a better version of yourself than you would be on your own. And when crisis strikes, you will thank God that you're still a United States Marine.